The KiwiSaver scheme is a New Zealand voluntary long-term savings scheme which came into operation from Monday, the 2nd of July 2007. The main purpose of the KiwiSaver Fund is for retirement savings, but younger participants can also use it to save a deposit for the first home, a policy initiative of the 5th Labour Government of New Zealand. It is aimed at improving New Zealand's low average rate of saving. It is governed by various Acts of Parliament including the KiwiSaver Act 2006, passed in September 2006. Basic operation. Anyone aged 64 and under, who is entitled to live in New Zealand indefinitely and who normally lives in New Zealand, is entitled to join KiwiSaver. Those under 18 require parental consent to join. Employee participants can choose to contribute 3%, 4% or 8% of the gross pay, and can switch rates 3 months after setting a rate. These contributions are deducted from an employee's pay and sent by the employer to Inland Revenue alongside the pay tax returns. The self-employed and unemployed can choose how much they want to contribute. While most KiwiSaver schemes have minimum contribution amounts for people in this category, several schemes allow any level of contributions. All eligible participants aged 18 to 64 starting a new job, with some exceptions, are automatically enrolled in KiwiSaver. New employees can choose to opt out from day 14 to day 56 of their employment. Participants choose to put the savings in one of several approved savings schemes. They can only belong to one scheme at a time, but can change schemes at any time. If they do not choose a scheme, and the participant is aged 18 or over, they will be assigned either to the employer's default scheme or to a government-selected default scheme. Each scheme offers several managed funds to invest the participant's savings in, with varying degrees of expected risk and return. Employers are required to contribute at least 3% of an employee's gross pay to the employee's KiwiSaver account. The employer contribution is taxed at the employee's marginal tax rate, so the actual amount the employee receives in their account is between 2.01% and 2.685%. From the start of the scheme until May 2015, those who joined KiwiSaver received a $1,000 tax-free kickstart to the KiwiSaver account from the government. The 5th National Government removed it effective the 21st of May 2015 as part of its 2015 budget. Those aged 18 and over also received from the government a member tax credit of 50 cents per dollar contributed for the first $1,042.86 contributed per year. The MTC is not a true tax credit, it is a monetary contribution paid by the government via Inland Revenue, mainly to offset the tax paid on interest earned. Those withdrawing KiwiSaver funds to help buy a first home may also get a deposit subsidy of up to $5,000 or $10,000 from Housing New Zealand, provided they meet the required income, deposit and house price requirements. A participant can access all the KiwiSaver contributions once they reach the age of entitlement for New Zealand superannuation, as long as they have been a KiwiSaver member for 5 years. Otherwise, KiwiSaver contributions can only be accessed in the following circumstances: a one-off withdrawal after 3 years to help buy a first home, serious illness or death, significant financial hardship, permanent emigration from New Zealand to a country other than Australia. Mortgage diversion. Some provider funds offer a mortgage diversion scheme where some of the employee contributions can be used to make mortgage repayments instead of going towards KiwiSaver. After a person has been signed up for 12 months, this is only allowed for repayments on the main home, and not for other properties such as investment or holiday homes. Employee contributions will not be able to be used for the mortgage. This option was abolished by the national government that came into power in 2008, though employees who used this option prior to June 2009 can continue to use it as long as the provider offers it. Contribution holiday. Persons on the scheme can take contribution holidays after 12 months for any period from 3 months to 5 years without any limits on future contribution holidays. Children. Persons under 18 years of age may join KiwiSaver if the provider allows their enrollment. If not employed, the child has to agree to a level of contributions with the provider. As soon as the child is employed, they must contribute and can never opt out. Children are not entitled to the tax credits. As of the 30th of June 2013, there were 352,600 KiwiSaver members aged under 18. Funds. Each scheme offers several managed funds to invest the participants' KiwiSaver savings in, and members may invest parts of the savings in different funds. Each managed fund has different risks, returns, investment composition and fees. Inland Revenue and the Commission for Financial Literacy and Retirement Income both divide funds into 5 broad categories, based on their investment composition. Cash funds are defensive funds, invest less than 10% of savings in growth assets, such as shares and property, and more than 90% of savings in income assets, such as bank deposits and bonds. These funds are low risk but offer low returns. Conservative funds invest between 10% and 35% of savings in growth assets and between 65% and 90% in income assets. These funds are medium-low risk but offer medium-low returns. If a member doesn't choose a fund, or they are in a default scheme, the savings are automatically put into a conservative fund. Balanced funds invest between 35% and 63% of savings in growth assets and between 37% and 65% in income assets. These funds offer medium returns with medium risk. Growth funds invest between 63% and 90% of savings in growth assets and between 10% and 37% in income assets. These funds offer medium-high returns but with medium-high risk. Aggressive funds invest more than 90% of savings in growth assets and less than 10% in income assets. These funds offer high returns but with high risk. Some providers offer a lifetime fund option, which sees the member's savings move to more defensive funds as the member ages. An example may have members aged under 35 in an aggressive fund, those aged 35 to 49 in a growth fund, those aged 50 to 59 in a balanced fund, those aged 60 to 64 in a conservative fund, and those aged 65 and over in a defensive fund. Withdrawing savings. As the main purpose of the KiwiSaver fund is for retirement savings, money can be withdrawn from the fund at the age at which the person is eligible for government superannuation, currently 65, as long as they have been a KiwiSaver member for 5 years. However, money can be withdrawn before retirement in a number of circumstances which are outlined in Schedule 1 of the KiwiSaver Act 2006. After 3 years, contributions can be withdrawn to buy the first home. This excludes the government kickstart of $1,000, and until the 1st of April 2015, the tax credits. in the event of significant financial hardship. This excludes the government $1,000 kickstart and tax credits in the event of serious illness. If a person permanently emigrates from New Zealand to a country other than Australia, this excludes the government tax credit. Divorce or the end of a de facto relationship longer than 3 years. KiwiSaver savings earned during the marriage, civil union. A de facto relationship, a considered relationship property under the Property Act 1976 and can be claimed against by an ex-partner. As with any other relationship property, KiwiSaver savings earned prior to the relationship are considered separate property and cannot be claimed against by an ex-partner. Death. KiwiSaver savings are paid into the deceased person's estate. If a New Zealander permanently emigrates to Australia, they may choose to keep the KiwiSaver savings in New Zealand or transfer them to a complying Australian superannuation fund. Likewise, if an Australian permanently emigrates to New Zealand, they may choose to keep the Australian superannuation savings in Australia or transfer them to a complying KiwiSaver fund. Regardless of where the money is held, Australian superannuation savings can be withdrawn once the person turns 60 and retires from working, or turns 65 regardless of employment status. Australian savings cannot be withdrawn to help buy a first home. Political issues. The KiwiSaver scheme was one of the promises on Prime Minister Helen Clark's controversial 2005 pledge card as part of the Labour Party's promises for that election. In 2008, John Key, then leader of the opposition, stated that a national-led government would mean there won't be radical changes. There will be some modest changes to KiwiSaver. KiwiSaver therefore has broad political support, being supported by both the National and Labour parties. National has since capped employee contributions at 2% and reduced compulsory employee contributions to 2%, with effect from the 1st of April 2009. Mortgage diversion is no longer available. Additionally, fee subsidy for those people who become members after the 1st of April 2009 has been removed, and for those people who joined before the 1st of April 2009 only 1 or 2 years fee subsidy will be paid. An Otago Daily Times opinion article suggested a number of consumer-oriented reforms. It said that KiwiSaver fund managers should reveal the exact investments they are making, rather than broad categories and percentages. American mutual funds reveal the top 10 investments as a matter of transparency. In the same article, the author wrote that one should be able to attach a KiwiSaver account to a discount broker and choose a large number of investment options, including shares, exchange-traded funds, mutual funds, bonds, and derivatives. Americans and Australians have the ability to make such investment choices in the retirement accounts, the article claimed. On the 16th of July 2009, the governments of New Zealand and Australia announced plans to allow funds in KiwiSaver and Australian superannuation to be transferred between the two schemes. This would allow New Zealanders who have worked in Australia to repatriate the superannuation money to New Zealand, and likewise for Australians who have worked in New Zealand to repatriate their KiwiSaver money to Australia. Trans-Tasman portability of retirement savings came into force on the 1st of July 2013. From that date, New Zealanders could no longer withdraw their KiwiSaver funds in cash on the basis of permanent emigration to Australia. In 2013, Labour said it would like to make the KiwiSaver scheme universal, in the face of the rising cost of superannuation, while financial organisations called for raising the minimum contributions to 7%. As part of the 2015 New Zealand budget, the National-led government repealed the $1,000 kickstart payment. Following the presentation of the budget, Finance Minister Bill English indicated the government was considering mass auto-enrolment of all workers under the age of 65. Enrolment. It was announced on the 30th of August 2007 that nearly 130,000 New Zealanders had signed up for the scheme. In October 2007, after 3 months of operation, 200,000 people had signed up. Leading Revenue Minister Peter Dundas said that if take-up continues at this rate, it might be easier to make the scheme compulsory, thereby removing the employer compliance costs associated with people opting out. However, he said that these were his personal views and not those of the government. On the 6th of December 2007, 5 months after the start of KiwiSaver, it was announced that 316,000 people had signed up. Over half were under 45, nearly 20% were under 25, and 33,000 were under 20. By the 31st of May 2008, uptake had more than doubled to 673,000, with more than $900 million having been paid into KiwiSaver schemes. As a comparison, the cost of New Zealand superannuation for 2014-15 is $11,589 million. Maximizing returns. There are several strategies that can be employed to maximize returns from the KiwiSaver scheme. These strategies depend on individual circumstances. If the provider allows, those with high-interest mortgages can use part of the KiwiSaver savings to pay back the mortgages, taking a contribution holiday to avoid paying 2% of one's salary, but continuing to pay $20 a week to get the matching government tax credit. Business owners may find it advantageous to pay themselves a salary in order to get $521.43 worth of tax credits.